good, y'all? How y'all feeling? You are here with Tuesday and Coach D on You Gotta Heal. For real. We got a special guest today, AY. We're about to be talking about starting over. You feel me? We about to be talking about the military, being masked and a mom. Like, it's about to be some crazy stuff. But AY, welcome to the show. Thank you so much, man. For real. Tell us a little bit about yourself, bro.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm a mass gen boss from a small town in Mississippi called Starkville, Mississippi. I grew up in a one of those churchy homes, and we was going to church and doing that type of thing. So I have 3 children, over 20 years in the military, and law enforcement experience, and so I'm here to chat it up with you guys, and let's talk about healing it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about healing that shit. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Dee the other day, and we was talking about gold star gaze, right? You know what that is? So basically, it's a gay woman, man, that never had sex with the opposite sex before.
Okay.
Right? Now, I'm a gold star gay. You feel me? I'm just letting y'all know. But my dude AY was married. So I want to know a little bit about this. Like, I know you was married, you was in the military. Like, tell me a little bit about that, and like, how did you find yourself?
Yeah, so I was married to a man and a woman.
What?
So I hadn't heard the term gold star gaze before. That's new to me. But I've heard of the concept, and I think that to each his own. Everybody's experience is everybody's experience. My experience, I kind of have like, I'm a very well-rounded person. so I look at things like the way that I know I don't like certain things is because I know I don't like it. I tried it. I tried it and I don't like it. So that's how I ended up where I am. A bunch of trial and error. But everybody's experience is their own. For me, being in relationship with a man, or being in relationship with a woman, it really comes down to each person knowing who they are and what they want. And if you don't want to have an experience with a man, then you have your reasons for not wanting that. And for me, I kind of grew up in a way where that was really what was expected. So there wasn't really an option to not be gay. I mean, to not be straight. Like you had to be straight. There was no gay in being accepted in and how I grew up. So so finding out about relationships with men was the only way to go about it.
I mean, you have to. It's the thing about it is sexuality is fluid. You know what I'm saying? People even shop with me. I've been with women. I've always liked women, but I had 2 boyfriends. High school, early college days.
Hey, let us know if you want us to name our ex-boyfriends. Let us know.
Y'all be like,
and y'all tag them.
That's hard. The thing about it is, I realize, and that's a part of like you trying to explore yourself and figure yourself out, because I was confused too in a lot of ways. Especially when you grow up in households like you said, religious. You're told you have to be this, you have to be that. Of course, you're thinking, I gotta do this because it's how I gotta go. But then I quickly realized I like women. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that,
like, ain't nothing wrong with that. I just feel like this, own it. Whatever it is that you're doing, because they even talk about studs out here that still like men and go both ways. I mean, own it. Just
I feel like gender is fluid though.
It is. It's all fluid. You know what I'm saying?
What you was about to say, bro?
I was gonna say, so I don't. The definition of stud kind of makes it so, but to each his own, bro. But you know, be honest about what you're doing.
That's
be
it.
honest about what
That's
you're
it.
doing.
That's it.
Yeah, because I don't go back. You know, once I came over here, I'm over here.
He like, I know exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Ain't no flip flop.
There's no question about it. So, you know, I appreciate every relationship that came and went.
That's it. I mean, that was a part of you finding yourself too.
Yes, it is.
I feel like we need to drink to that. We need to cling to that.
Yeah.
Ain't no wrong with it. I mean, we mask. We still women at the end of the day who've been trying to figure out who we are. You know, Tuesday just hey, I ain't dipped in it. But
this is the thing, though. I had a boyfriend. Now I don't be telling people about this man because I really feel like he would have been a perfect guy. Like I'm not gonna even lie. Like if I was straight, I feel like I would have probably married this man because like he was literally perfect and like matched up in the line with me. But that's just how much I knew I liked women. So I told him, I was like, man, you cool, you my dog. But I like women, so I can't continue this with you yet. I don't even want to hurt you like that because I know what I like.
I like what I like. I'm trying to dominate you. I'm trying to dominate you. That's I'm trying to dominate you. Somebody right here.
That part.
Like,
but bro, like I know we was talking just a little bit, and I know you was telling me before you came out, you already had kids, right?
Yep.
So how did your children take it?
So it wasn't always a smooth ride with the kids and everything because how I came out, I was outed. And so it wasn't even my choice, for this information to be divulged in the way that it was divulged.
Yes.
So it was, it did a lot to the kids, and so we did family therapy.
Hear that shit.
shit. Therapy. Get y'all hair.
You got to, and you got to take care of your kids. Like, don't just expect for them to just accept what's going on because they have their little emotions.
Yeah, they got their feelings
and their and their understanding as well. So you have to prioritize that. And so we went into therapy as a family, and we learned some coping tools that has helped us tremendously. And my children are very accepting. Our love is our love.
Yes.
It doesn't have anything to do with who I'm dating or who I choose to be with. I'm helping them grow into the human beings that they're going to become so that they can know who they are in order to choose the best people who they can have healthy relationships with.
That part. That's very healing and mature of you. Yeah. Because you're showing your children, you're leading by example, showing your children that you can be who you want to be. You know what I'm saying? Be free. They may have questions about their own sexuality, but with you showing who you are, that's giving them the courage to trust you. That's that whole thing. I think when we hide, we talked about that a little earlier before, but when we hide who we are, you think these kids don't know?
They know.
They know. These kids know.
They know.
I think it's better if you lay the options out for your kids to truly pick to be themselves, because how can you hide this piece of information from them? And they feel like they don't have a community or they don't have something that describes who they are or what they're feeling. And that can be an alienating feeling.
Yeah,
and it's very, very discouraging. And it's now it's left for me to find who I am as I become an adult. And I should have been figuring some of this stuff out in my adolescence with help.
Right. And then you go out into the streets and into the other, and you get it's better to learn it from home, I think, the right way, in a healthy way, as opposed to getting things from the streets, because then they get more harm, they have more risk to learn things that you probably could have taught them better or given more protection and nurturing, as opposed to what the streets gonna teach you. Because man, ain't nothing like learning those street lessons.
Yes. Now my real question is to you too. How much different was it being like married to a man and being married to a woman?
Oh, that's some good. That's a good one right there.
That's a really great question.
Let me take a sip.
For real. I'm gonna take on that too.
I'm gonna have to refill after this segment.
So I mean, there wasn't much difference in the roles, because roles exist regardless of what type of dynamic you're in.
Okay.
So, but I would say the difference was in how how each person shows up for each other. So being in a relationship with a woman, being married to a woman, she's gonna show up for you in a more emotional way, in a more nurturing way, than in a relationship with a man. A man is gonna be very just stern, and he's gonna be very disciplined, and he's gonna be very strict in his ways, and you may not always get the support that you need as a woman, because we are women. You may not get or I didn't get as much support in those areas during my relationships with men. So coming over on this side to relationships with
the good
women,
side.
Oh my goodness. I'm not trying to tell nobody what they need to do, but I'm just saying I'm happy over here.
Yeah, for real.
When it comes to like the issue of like pleasure and intimacy and things like that, that goes a lot deeper when in relationship with women. There's a lot more focus in pleasing your partner instead of you getting the pleasure of the situation. I could go more into it, but I don't know how much time we have.
That's a lot. You talking about them balancing the masculine and feminine, And that's deep. That's deep. I think too. Like, so what roles do you think you showed up as provider in both relationships? Were you more feminine in them? Do you feel like what roles have you shown up in?
So I've always been a mother. Well, so prior to being a mom, I was just trying to figure out like what is this all about. A lot of the female women around me were really into certain things about men that they talk about all the time. He gotta be tall and handsome,
said that they
strong.
smell good. Like the little musky smell. I be like, that don't smell good.
I don't, whatever, those things. So I spent a lot of time trying to understand what these things were that they were talking about. But I really, honestly, and truly have only come to feel those emotions in a friendly way.
I get it. That's how you do. Man, this ain't for me.
And so even though yes, I have had with intercourse with some of these men, they probably would have been the best of friends to me had we not, pursued a relationship.
Right, but you were trying to explore your sexuality.
But I was doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
But we gonna be right back. Hold that thought, AY. Hold up. Now we do gotta hear a word from the sponsors, so we gonna be right back. But in the meantime, don't forget to heal that shit. Alright, y'all, this was an episode of You Gotta Heal with AY. It was sponsored by the Weekday Productions. You ever just needed that right angle on the right weekday? Or somebody to cover your event? Well, we got you covered. Come down to the weekday to get a photo shoot, video shoot, or a commercial, right? So we're sponsoring this, and we love you guys. Thank y'all so much.
All right. What's up, y'all? We are back.
Yes,
we are
are.
back. We about to talk about continue this healing as we were talking about with AY. Just really diving into, just what it was like with, being married to a man and being married to a woman. And AY was telling some.
I heard they smell good.
They smell good. Men, y'all smell good.
Hey, so the ones that some of them smelled really good. But that wasn't my thing. I was trying to find out, what is this that these women are talking about. They really, were into men. And so, so I tested it out. I have, had some very good, situations with some guys. But what I came to learn through my healing is that those were very deep friendships.
Yeah.
And they should not have crossed the line of becoming intimate because we were only meant to be friends.
Yeah.
And that's where I draw the line now. Like, you know, I'm only gonna be friends with men. I just don't have the desire to, you know, be intimate with a man forever. So that's, you know, and the people that I'm around, if they do happen to be male, they understand. I do currently have male friends, and they are supportive, and they don't try me, and that's why I love them.
Yeah.
So so I think that a level of respect comes when you set boundaries, and the people who care about you, they are able to respect those boundaries. Some men will not be able to respect those boundaries, and you got to be okay with that.
Have y'all had men hit on y'all while y'all masculine presenting?
Oh,
absolutely. With the hat on,
just the J's,
all of that,
the fresh suits.
I got men in my inbox right
all the
now.
time. Y'all stay out of my DMs.
Stay out of the DMs.
And
some of them, as long as they respectful, I'm okay with it. But when they get disrespectful is where, you know, I'm not.
Because I had to block a few of them. And you know you got to.
But some of the men are like, hey, you're a very nice looking
woman. They look at us as women. Yeah.
I can't say I'm not. I mean I
am. Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Cheers to nice looking ass, masculine presenting.
Hell yeah. You gotta cheers to that.
And I have a lot of respect for men who are strong enough in their masculinity to be able to accept us who are living in our own truth without it being
disrespectful or degrading. Because we know how y'all men can be sometimes. When you see us, you like, dang, I can turn you, but. And I love my male friends too, family friends. It's beautiful. Yeah. And you know what? As I think about you being a masculine presenting woman in the military, and that's a whole men-led or male dominant, organization, the Army. What was that like for you?
For me, it was a bit difficult. I'm gonna have to just be honest with y'all.
Okay. I'm sure
I did. I did over 20 years in the military. So I wore all the different uniforms. I came in when the boots were still black, and we were still polishing them. You know what I'm saying? So the transformation of the military from what it was when I came in to what it is now is really not enough. And there are very unsupportive people, not just men, unsupportive people who still remain in the military. For me, as a mass presenting woman in the military, I was still a woman. I was still a woman.
Because you hear a lot of things. I have a lot of military friends. A few are masked, and I hear different stories about things that women go through in the military. So for you to be here standing and talking about it, like, I'm sure there are others that will be able to relate.
Absolutely, and even a lot of my military, my Army battle buddies, what up battles, have possibly retired now. Yes, sir. Have retired, and some are still in, and and I have a lot of respect for the women who are able to continue to go on their own path and continue with their careers within the military, because it is difficult, and it is sometimes much more difficult for a woman to achieve certain goals in the military, and then you have to layer on, well, she's a woman of color, and that she's a mass presenting lesbian, and so those are layers on top of what we already face inside the military. You already really don't have rights, so so I salute all the women who are currently serving, all the military members, all of them, male and female, but especially the ones who have walked the walk on the path that I have also walked myself, and it's hard, but y'all gonna make it. I'm telling you, it's getting better every day. Stick in there, keep doing what you're doing. We salute y'all. It's not only us, it's even men who are strong in who they are. They support y'all, so keep doing what you're doing.
Thank y'all for the sacrifice, for real.
Yeah,
everybody always say the service, and I'm like, bro, like, this is a service that I don't think I really want to be giving. I don't think nobody really want to get that service like that, but it's definitely that sacrifice. And sometimes I feel like when I see military people, like, I feel like it's disrespectful to say thank you for your service. It's so much more than service.
Yeah.
This is definitely a sacrifice of my family, me, like, everybody that has something to do with me, you know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah, man. Thank you for your sacrifice.
Thank you for your sacrifice. And so, I know a lot of y'all been waiting. Y'all been listening and tuning in. And
they waiting for it.
Want to hear the meat and potatoes, right?
Yes.
So we gonna go into it real quick. We gonna segue into AY's real vital important story as a mask of what we talking about. You gotta heal on this channel.
Yes.
Like what life has been like for her after divorce.
Yes.
And where is she at, with that? And so I know a lot of people go through different things in relationships. You're trying to find yourselves. It's somebody that's watching this right now that's gonna need this.
Yes.
But AY, if you don't mind sharing, you've been very transparent. We appreciate you coming on.
For real.
What has that been like for you?
Yeah.
Let's get into
the meat. So it's been a lot. It's been difficult. Mm-hmm. Because when you start to do the work, nobody.
When you say the work, let's drink that. When you say the work, tell these people what you mean the work.
When you start to do the work, that means when you start to look at yourself in the mirror, when you start to tell yourself that you look, when you say I love you, and you look in the mirror and you tell yourself that, and you start to do the actual actions, you start to do the things that make you feel better, and the things that are going to lead to a better life for you. That's the work. Yeah. If you sign up for even just a little sit down with a group of people and start to talk about those things that you don't normally talk about, that's the work.
That's the work. Yeah. That's the work.
Therapy. That's the work.
That's the work. Therapy. Yeah. And you have to heal it. You have to. And it's not gonna happen overnight. And it's not gonna be easy. You are going to, go through it. Sometimes they say, it gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
But if you truly want to feel the acceptance of yourself, and truly want to be unapologetically you, then you have to. Like, you have to go through it. You have to say, hey, you know what? This is something that, that has poked at me throughout my life. This is something that I need to go ahead and explore in order to really be happy. Because it really didn't matter what was going on in my life. There was always this thing. And it wasn't a word for it. It wasn't I couldn't put my finger on it, but I just knew, like, everything is not right.
Yeah.
Everything is not how I want it to be, because I am not as happy as I should be. So when you decide to do the work, it's not necessarily going to be easy, but make sure, you reach out and you get the support. And that's why we're here. That's why we're doing what we're doing. Yes. That's why when they asked, when we talked about, doing this interview, I said, yes, I want more people to hear my story. I want for you guys to know.
And it's been amazing to see your growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that? Yeah. Go ahead.
I got a question for real, bro. Like real talk. Now, I know you were saying that you come from a small town, and I do too. I came from Marrero. Like, I'm from Marrero. I tell people New Orleans, because if you say Marrero, people don't know where it's at. Yeah. I'm just 10 minutes away from New Orleans, so I am in New Orleans, right? Yeah. But I know how we look at divorce. You feel what I'm saying? In our families. How did you navigate divorce with your beliefs? And, like, how did you let go of the situations that were no longer working for you?
Yeah, so I come from a place where, where people weren't very quick to get a divorce. And people stayed and stayed and stayed.
Same,
through
Jesus. To death.
Yes.
To death.
To death.
Yes.
To death. Never happened.
So when throughout my life, when the time has come to leave, I haven't been very very quick to leave a situation that was unhealthy for me.
Yeah.
And that was because of how I was raised. Like, you stay through the hard times.
Yeah.
You work through things and you work through them until they get better.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you're doing that work that I talked about, and when you're finding yourself, you decide that, hey, this is not serving me anymore. This is not what I need to do for me.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a whole self-love journey. When you start loving yourself, you will no longer sacrifice you for whatever this thing is that's not working anymore.
Yeah.
You will accept the fact that, hey, it's just not healthy.
Right.
If it's not working, that's different than not healthy.
Ooh,
Not
okay.
working and not healthy,
It's
two different things.
That's
Well,
it.
real quick. Explain to us the two differences between not working and not healthy, so they can know.
Yeah, so
Because this is what y'all need to look out for as well.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, so not working can happen in any relationship. Any relationship can have ups and downs, trials and tribulations, and all of that. But that can happen in the situation not become unhealthy. When the situation becomes unhealthy, that means you have noticed something within you, or you have noticed that this situation as a whole can really cause harm. So once that is identified, and and you acknowledge, hey, this is, like, I'm feeling very depressed right now, and I'm just not happy with the way that things are going, and I've tried all of the things that I can do, and the person on the other side of it may be doing things to make things worse. When you realize that and you acknowledge that, you got to make a move. You have to, and that's part of self-love. That's part of this journey. That's part of what will get you to a place where you are happy with you, and you won't allow for those things to happen anymore. So for me, it not only freed me from unhealthy relationships, but it delivered me to healthy and fulfilling relationships.
Yeah, there's
So,
connections.
yeah,
It's like, and I agree with you on that. If it's not
Yeah.
working, sometimes that it's not working is because you ain't even figured out the root cause of how to make it work, and then to see if there's somebody willing to make it work, right?
Yeah.
But when you realize the root cause, like you said, and it's still not working, that's when it crosses over into that unhealthy, toxic shit.
Yeah.
And at that point, you have to make some decisions to. I gotta heal that shit, right?
Yep.
So this is deep, man. I really appreciate the conversation, and I know too, a lot of us know we were gonna dive into. Thank you for sharing your story, bro. That's somebody gonna be able to relate to this.
Not for real.
And we know we got extra parts to AY. We're gonna have to bring AY on. But for time's sake today,
part one.
we are going to talk about another part that we talked about too, that a lot of us struggle with is abstinence versus celibacy. And AY, we just gonna bring her in, just dialogue about it. But when we're on a self-love journey, this is a whole You Gotta Heal podcast, vlog, right? When you're talking about self-love, a lot of us are hopping into relationships. We think sex is gonna fulfill us. Let's get it, right?
Yeah, it's a new show about
But
that.
what we talk about, man, but abstinence is powerful.
It is. But even when you talk about abstaining, not just from sex, but just certain things that you indulge
Different vices.
Different vices. You gotta be abstinent. And then one thing too, y'all, I am gonna bring this up. I told her I was gonna bring this up.
Go ahead.
So we was having a conversation before we brought you on. This dude over here talking about, we about to talk about celibacy. I was like, nigga, you married. How you gonna be celibate? Nigga, you didn't already, So celibacy is when you don't have sex until marriage. You cut off all sexual ties until you get married to your certain someone. Now, when you're abstaining from sex or being abstinent, you just go on without it for a certain period of time. But why was there ever a time where you was like abstaining for a long period of time?
To have a break to find yourself, pull your energy back.
Yeah. So yeah, of course. I'm currently unintentionally abstinent and selectively abstinent when I need to be.
You have to
but when things were happening, like, you have to take the time to separate, what is real and what is based out of lust and and sex and all of those things, because you really are trying to figure out who you really are and what you really want. And so all of those different vices are going to sway you one way or the other. So I definitely think it's important part of healing. I am a very sexual person, so so I try not to need that healing too often, but when you need to abstain, you need to abstain.
Abstinence is powerful.
Anything come in between.
It is. I don't care if you're in a relationship or not. It's almost like fasting with anything you're doing. Like, even people want to fast with food, intermittent fasting. You hear about that all the time. But like you were saying earlier, there's different vices that a lot of us have when we're trying to heal, and we find coping things to latch on to cope. But what we don't realize is that, we're not really getting a lot of clarity when you don't abstain from things to know who you are. Like it's almost like killing the flesh.
Yeah.
Like killing the flesh and then really understanding who your spirit is. It's the same way with abstinence. It's the same way with sex and all that. Like, and plus, the way I look at it, you don't want all them different energies all mixed up in you. It's like, are you sacred or not?
To be real, it's like, if you can't be abstinent with it or abstain from it, you're worshiping it.
Man,
and that could be food, that could be marijuana, that could be sex,
all of it.
Everything that you want to talk about. So it's like, it's good to still have that discipline within yourself. I definitely, honestly, y'all, I struggle with that myself. Like, people don't talk about they struggle with it, but I do. Like, I smoke marijuana, you feel me? And I don't think it's nothing wrong with that. And I'm still a boss. I still make money and I still do the things that I need to do. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to worship it. I want to worship God first. You know what I mean? So it's like, certain times, like I just told D, I went on a Thomas break. You got to go on those breaks to withstand from it and not worship it, you know what I mean? To grow and be a better you. And I don't necessarily saying that everybody don't have a vice, because we all do. But you want to be in control of your vice, not your vice being in control of you.
That part.
So that's something that, honestly, like, as I continue to heal from that, y'all continue to heal with me, for real.
Yeah, no, that's real. I mean, that's really what it's about. Like, self-love, and you healing that shit is really about discovering who you are without these things, whether it's fucking women or sex or cannabis or alcohol or shit. There's people that's addicted to porn, you know what I'm saying? But like, you gotta know who you are without those things. Have you really truly given yourself an opportunity to feel without having these things that you just so attached to? That shit is real. Like, it really is real. I've definitely learned a lot just on my journey of being older and wise, and it's still things that I'm learning about myself. But I know for a fact that when you find that self-discipline to say, hey, I need some clarity, I need to abstain. Like, let me just feel God for a minute.
For real.
Like, then you really gonna tap into what you need to do and who you are. And then you'll see things for what it is. But a lot of us, like we said earlier, we don't even give ourselves the opportunity to do that because we so busy hopping to the next thing, trying to get that fix. For sure. Outside of us versus looking at, dang, I really need to take care of what's really going on. My inner child is telling me something deeper, and I need to pay attention to these wounds.
Yes, you do.
That's that you gotta heal shit.
You gotta heal.
You gotta heal. Man, what a dialogue, man. We have been really just vibing today. Definitely talking about.
Don't forget about that game that we got for AY. We're gonna do that. We're gonna come right back for y'all. Right back.
All right, y'all. Welcome back. So we gonna finish this out and wrap this up with a quick little game that we gonna like play with AY. Little game. We gonna have a little fun on You Gotta Heal. That's what we do. So I'm gonna let my girl Tuesday go ahead and start it out with AY.
So look, we're gonna play a game with you, A. We're gonna ask you 2 questions apiece. It's gonna start with me and with D, right?
Yeah.
So you only got 2 things that you can answer these questions with.
Okay.
And definitely it's based off of your name. It's either A, meaning yeah, or nay, meaning no.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just dive into that thing. Y'all, let's take a drink.
Let's take a drink.
All right.
I'm at the end of mine. This was some good.
Would you ever get married again?
Ooh.
Hey.
She said, I don't know about that.
My dog said, yeah, fuck it. We believe in love around here.
Alright, cool. So here go one for me. So considering that you are a part of Master Mike, if many of y'all don't know, Mascot Identifying Queens, we are erotic dancers together. AY is in the group. Let me ask you this. Being a part of a kink community that you discovered in the last year and a half, do you like polydynamic relationships? Hey, now y'all know.
A wide in between them thighs. Alright, I got one for you. Alright. So, y'all, I'm gonna go start again. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna just let y'all know. But, alright. Have any males that you've dealt with had relationships with other males?
Ooh.
Is that an A or a nay?
Ooh. Damn, I'm about to finish my drink to that one right there.
Gotta sip. Shit.
Alright, so my last question would be too, and I hope a lot of y'all mask boys feel this one, but do you, as a mask presenting woman, do you like to be wined and dined too, like you do to your femme counterpart?
A or nay?
I think we all can say That was what's up. So man, we definitely have appreciated AY coming through today, man, sharing the vibes with us, being real about their journey. We definitely got our part 2 and part 3 coming up because AY got a beautiful story, man. And we just grateful that you here, bro. Thank you for coming through.
Sure, thank you, man.
Thank you for coming through.
Yeah.
I'm Tuesday.
I'm AY.
I'm your girl, Coach D.
And this was an episode of Hear That Shit.